Okay, the other day I had to model essentially this. The factory didn't have the model, the 3D model anymore, and we were making something like it, so this is how I figured out this shenanigan. Like simple cross-section, simple but same but taller cross-section shenanigans in here. Okay, here's how we work it out. Okay, so basically I was given these cross-sections, so I'm just going to extrude that. Great. And I'm going to explode it and rejoin it for right now. The same, that's not joined, so I'm using a bunch of aliases. I'll put the link in the description. Aliases are your best friend in Rhino. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to take this and extrude curve. Oh, it already knows that it's planar, so great. We'll say it's that long. Here's a setting so that you don't have to explode and rejoin it. I never remember where it is, so I just do it all the time. Oops. So XC to extrude curve. That's the curve. We'll extrude it to there. Okay, and so basically this, let's see, we're going to fill out some edges here. Now, we're going to just use, say, use 0.5, let's see, we'll do 0.7 back here. Great, so they're nice and even widths for right now. But what you'll notice is that from here to here is the chord is 0.79. Oh, let's also fill it up here, and we'll make it say 0.85 for fun. And then of course the chord is different up here, right? And even if I'd made it 0.7, there we go. Because the curves are a little bit different, the chords are different, right? So this, like this section from here to here is 4.5, but then the one from here is basically 4, right? So even though it's the same width of radius, same radius, the chord is different because this top surface and this side surface is different. So that's worth noting. Okay, so we're going to just lay in some boundaries as best we can. The simple one, going back to our pictures, this little round curve here, that's the easy one. So let's just do that. And we'll do, blend surface, which is BSS for me in my things. So pick this edge to this edge. And this is super tiny. So I think tangency is truly fine for what we're doing here. And I'm not even going to lock, I'm just going to pull this one back a little bit so it looks just a little bit more circular. Okay. And a good way to sort of check on those kinds of things is to just draw a line in there. And then draw a circle. And you can adjust the end bulge. I find that interface not much fun to use, so I just tend to remodel it. So, so from here to here, now you can kind of do it visually. Oop. Oh, there's one on either side. That's no fun. And I'm doing what's called making a mess, so okay. There we go. Use the slider for that. Sorry, not just grab on it. Okay, so something like that looks pretty darn circular, so great. Okay. I tend to just make my curves a different color than the surfaces on that layer. It'd be nice if there's an option for that. Alas, there is not yet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay in one big old surface. Because again, the real problem, like, you know, this top edge is flat, this top edge is flat, this is a fillet, that's a fillet. That's going to be pretty obvious, like how that's going to resolve. What's different is this, what's going to look like a sideways set of pans. So I'm going to duplicate an edge, just this edge that's between these fillets. And I'm going to make that one green. I'm going to take it and I'm going to duplicate it with the Y key in my aliases up to there. From the side view, I'm just going to rotate it, and so I have that as my reference point, and I'm going to just aim it right at that. And then I'm going to use E for scale 1D, and I'm going to scale from here to here, and then you got it right to there. So now that curve is happy, and it's not any wider, or it shouldn't be. Actually, it is a little bit wider. And what I know from having done this is it is kind of nice to have just a little bit of lead in. So I'm going to turn its points on and just nudge it left like 1. See how that goes for right now. And we can see now that it's just a bit inside of this ISO curve, just a little bit. And we'll see why that helps us out, I think, in a little bit here. So I'm going to tap V to shade it back. So we've got one boundary here, and another boundary is this other green line, and we want to make 4-sided surfaces. So if we string a curve here and one at the bottom, then we've got a 4-sided surface, and that's a good place to start. So I'm going to use a blend curve to blend from here to here, and it's a good broad expanse. So just looking at this, I don't think we really need to be curvature continuous to hide any blemishes. So I'm just going to leave it a tangency for now and say OK. Do the same thing. Oops. Down here. Fabulous. And now I'll make these green just so I can kind of keep all these things together in my head. Use a sweep 2 to go from here to here, and then the green rail to this green rail. Okay. Now, I'm going to match surface just in case it's not. And I'm going to make that tangent. We don't really need to preserve anything at the other end because we're going to trim this stuff off anyway, so we can set that to none and just say OK. If we hide the curves, can't see a thing. Great. So, then, actually, we might as well, before we even get into anything too complicated in here. No, before we get into complicated things, or actually, let's get into complicated things. So we're going to draw a circle here, and I'm just going to draw it up to. I just want to give this just a really good amount of room to do its thing. So we'll say 9 is fine, and I'm going to just drag it out here. And just to give us some indication of things that may be happening later, I'm going to take this curve and duplicate it, this green one, up to here. And I'll do this, pick this curve down here and duplicate it there. And you can see that it's not, if I zoom in here, you can see that it's not quite touching, so you can match curve with MC. And tangency. Same thing up here. Okay, awesome. So, so let me, this curve we can make white, and what I'm going to do is take a line, basically this same line. The way I like to do this is I'll just copy paste it and rotate it 90 degrees. And then I'll, let's see, that's my boundary, and then I'll extend this guy out. No, that's the boundary object. Extend it out to there. Great. So now I'll take this guy, sort of duplicate it from the midpoint out to here, pick it, and I'll scale it in 1 dimension up to here. And I'm doing that just because this, looking at this angle is not like a perfect bisector or anything like that of this ISO curve and this one, but it's in the ballpark, and so I think it's a good thing to have. So we're just going to trim that away. Okay, so now we need to look at, let me see here. If essentially we're trying to figure out like where this edge would flow into this. So let me see. If I just pull out an iso curve off of this surface there, we'll say, and let's just take a look at the blend curve from here to here and see how it. That's pretty smooth. That looks pretty nice. So we can leave that there. And so to get one that's pretty even on the other side, I'm just going to draw a circle to there, and I'm going to drag out another iso curve way into there, right? And I'm going to do another blend curve from here to here. Okay, so now what we've got are, let's see, let's make this guy and this guy green. And what we're going to do is split this edge here. So we're going to split edge. So we're going to split this edge at that green point and at that point. So now that we can do sweep 2, we can pick this rail, this edge, and we'll pick the poly surface edge just for fun. Wait a minute. First rail, second rail, edge. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So that's a rail, that's a sweep shape, that's a sweep shape. Okay, looking pretty good in there. Highlights look like they're doing smart things. So we're getting there. We've built some bridges in here for ourselves. So now the next thing we want to do is, start to fill this in again. So what we can do is use another sweep to go from, we'll use this surface edge as well as this surface edge. That and and actually we can just keep that one sweep shape, so it's just going to swing it along there. And I'm not even going to bother with the curvature here for right now. I'm just going to do it manually with match surface, and I want to match that one to this one, and I would like it to be curvature continuous, and I'm just going to set this to curvature on the other one, even though there is nothing set. Just I don't have to reset it later, or like right now. So this surface to this surface, great, and it's so it's going to preserve that curvature that's happening up there. So say OK. If we hide those curves, we've got a pretty nice thing happening in there. And we get this nice long drawn sort of exaggerated extension of this tubular, this sort of crowned or soft square thing. So we're very much getting that surface and that surface out of there, right? So now, if we turn our curves back on, the last bit of the trick is to trim this out. So I think what I would do is to, oh, right, I would draw a blend curve, right, from here to here. And let's see. Actually I might, let's see, draw a circle again. Just draw it to there. Just again to give me some kind of visual reference. So here to here. That seems more extreme than before. So we'll just do it in perspective here, just to make sure we have the right curves. Those aren't the right curves. There to there. Okay. And so now I can just sort of drag these guys back until it's, about circular. Great. And I'm going to pick it and make it white just so I can see it. Or actually, I'll make it green and maybe make this reference one white here. Okay. So now I can shade it and trim that out. And we've got, you guessed it, a happy four-sided surface. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to give these things a chance to win as best as possible. So I'm going to drag out some iso curves. and just throw a blend curve in here as well. Tangency is fine. This is, this is tangent, this is tangent. Although at point 1, I think we can go back and, well, let's see, if we throw 1 into curvature, we'll just throw that into curvature and see how it goes. So sweep 2, this curve, this curve, this, that. So no options there, that's okay. Let's just select our curves and hide them, shade it and see how it looks. It's okay. Not sure I love that yet. Let's try network surface. See if that gives us anything a little bit nicer. This feels a little, and honestly I think it's because, let me redraw this curve and just let it be tangent on the first side there. Let's see how that sweep 2 looks. 3, 2, there. Yet sometimes trying to force it to be tangent makes it a little, or to be curvature makes it just a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much, and it works too hard. So let's see if we can match surface, and we would want to make that curvature a little bit smoother, but then we've sort of lost what's happening in here. So that's why I think we do need to do the network. As I recall, that's what I ended up with here. And we can tell it at A and C it can be tangent, but at D and B we would probably like it to be curvature continuous. Let's hide our curves. I think this is just a shading error, a little bit of shading error in there, but again, this is from here, which is about the closest you're ever going to see an eyewear temple. That's pretty darn clean. So, excuse me. So just sort of depending on how you need it to be, that's kind of the solution. The other thing just to point out again is, let's see, you're gonna have trouble running one surface because the whole way here, because this is 2 surfaces. So what I would do is, let's see, do we have a curve sitting here? We don't. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to just copy it from there to here. And I'm going to make it white. I'll do the same thing here. Duplicate it to there. Or I could really just move it, I suppose. I don't really need it for anything else. And then we can just build two sort of manual fillets there. And so let's do sweep 2, and I'll use the surface edge just to make sure it's touching it. We'll go from the surface edge to that curve. Great. Again, you can see it starts to sharp, it goes from, that's just a normal tangent blemish, they call it, to something a little more than that. So I would probably match the surface at this point. Let's try that again. That's, no. Yeah, that edge to, oh right, so it's trying to match this little short edge to the whole edge. So this is probably, why did I drag it there? That was a mistake. Sorry, let me just move these. I can do that all the way to here. That makes more sense. Just confusing myself there. Okay, so, but the thing is that this doesn't touch that. So what I would do is probably hit save. We're gonna need to build a surface in here anyway, so I would, let's see if we can get a surface from that edge to this edge. It looks pretty good. And then again from to back there. Okay. So now we can take this line, which is what sort of creates that boundary anyway, and we can project it onto this and this. Right, so we'll have those two curves, which we'll just double check they become white. Match the curve here to here, and just to be sure, here to here. Great. So we can do the top one first, let's say. Okay. Now that's looking better. And we can double check by just matching surface. That one. And I'm pretty sure that didn't move. And then we'll do sweep 2. From there to here. Match that one up to here. Okay. Now, and then we just have to basically do that one more time, and that's going to fill all of our pants in there. So, pick that surface edge to there. You see those iso curves get a little funny, but it's okay. Now see, again, I think we're going to have a problem. We're just going to try to switch the whole thing. So what I would do is, again, I would split, oops. Nope. Let's see, hold on, split edge. Yeah. There. While we're in that command, might as well split this one there. So now we can match this guy to this guy. Tangency, tangency. Great. That's a rail. That's a rail. Surface edge to a. Okay, just force some tangency in here, and we should be good to go. So nice and even the whole way through there. Let me just pick all of this stuff. Actually, do it this way. Can I get it all? Do that. Deselect that, and should be able to mirror this over this midpoint, and that should just land just fine since it's symmetrical. I will maybe make this layer just a different color since I know what my show edge color is here. That's fine. Now it looks like I'm having a problem in here. Seems to be because I have two of them. Oh, yeah, I apparently duplicated that. Oops. That would have been embarrassing. So, so that's essentially how you can get shaded back to this. Something that mimics this idea. Wish I had this too. tell me how to do it when I was trying to figure it out. So that's the jam, and I hope it helped.